Greetings, and thank you for tuning in to Inmates For Change. My name is Jones. I'm the CEO, founder of the 501c3 not-for-profit Inmates For Change. Our motto is we're breaking the bondage of destructive thinking, and by that I mean that we offer a 12-week curriculum of rehabilitative education that centers around critical thinking, forward thinking, interpersonal interaction, self-image, relationships. We also work with long goal and short-term goal accomplishments. We do behavior modification, and we also offer linkage to vocational training. I've got the privilege today to offer one of my guests who, by chance, happened to be a former client as well as a former co-worker, so one of my contemporaries. This is Mr. Mauricio Colin. Thank you for coming on board, Mauricio.
Mr. Jones, it's definitely an honor and a privilege to be here with you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask a few questions to you about your transition, about how it came through, what were some of the psychological challenges that you had to face, what else you were doing in your life once you came home, and how you went through the transition of becoming successfully integrated, or I should say reintegrated, back into corporate America, community, your family, and such. Okay. So let me just get started with what are some of the perceived challenges you had to face while you were entering society? And by that question, I'm asking, what were the challenges that you knew that you had to face coming before you got a chance to get started? You know, there are things that we run into with, am I going to go back down on the block and try to grind again, or I'm going to change my life, or am I going to try to fix it up with my girlfriend or my children's mother, or am I going back to the home that where all my trouble started and this kind of thing? So what were some of your perceived challenges you had to face?
Well, Mr. Jones, some of the many challenges was getting reacquainted with what I would say the new society after being away for so long, being reacquainted with family, employment, finding a way to change, finding a way to stay away from, like you had said, the block, the guys. Mm-hmm. And constantly hearing that same voice I would hear, which I would call conformity. You're okay with what you're doing. You're okay where you're at. Knowing I wasn't, but I had to find a way to break, like it said, that change, that place of conformity that just wasn't okay.
So psychologically, how did you prepare yourself?
Well, I involved myself in many types of classes, if not modules, the 12-week program you had offered. It's about mental change. Being mentally strong and continue to stay focused on the many changes, just thinking forward, thinking straight, be positive. Changing, just in general, just changing the way I think.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that because I probably didn't say it at the beginning of the show. The Inmates for Change organizations offer a rehabilitative education initiative entitled Path to Purpose. And that's what he was mentioning when he mentioned the 12-week program. You come through, we do the critical thinking, then we break it into interpersonal interaction, short goal accomplishments, and that type of thing. And Mauricio was a real good candidate for the program. He asked a lot of questions. We did a lot of one-on-ones. He got himself involved in extra credit duty type stuff and some of the other stuff that wasn't even part of the curriculum, which he got into, where he was doing it in his own neighborhood and that kind of thing. So let me take it to the third question, Mauricio. What kind of programs or organizations help ease your transition?
Again, it's the program you had offered, Pathways for Purpose.
Path to Purpose, man.
Thank you, sir. Pathway to Purpose.
Path to Purpose.
Path to Purpose.
I know.
Job skill training, computer training, things of that nature that definitely really helped change my character, changing my vocabulary, changing, if anything, how I present myself to public in a general way.
Okay. Let me ask you, are you nervous?
Right Slightly.
Now? Okay, well, nervous is good. Nervous is good. Tight. Nervous is good. Don't trip, because I know it's your first time being possibly on the TV and I'm grilling you. You know how I am. You can just call me Jones. Mr. Jones is when I'm signing your checks. But right now, Jones works fine.
Sounds good, Jones.
Those of you who would like to join the conversation, we can be reached at 312-738-1060. Again, 312-738-1060. I'd also like to put a plug in right now. The Inmates for Change organization can be reached at 773-746-3075. That number is available for accepting calls from 9:30 a.m. Monday through Friday until 3:30 p.m. The website will be up shortly, inmatesforchange.org, and we're also accepting email at inmatesforchange@gmail.com. Now that we've gotten that taken care of, I'd like to ask you, Mauricio, in your opinion, how can the formerly incarcerated individual help change public policy? Now, let me just give you a briefing on what I'm hoping will make it easier for the question. You may already have it anyway. When we come home, we're perceived as a certain type of an individual,
Indeed.
And or persona by the public. So there's a fear, there's an uncertainty, and in a lot of places there's just a complete resistance to an individual when they've heard that he has a background. So, in your opinion, how can the formerly incarcerated help change public policy?
First and foremost, in my own opinion, would be education.
Okay.
Educate yourself. For example, if you don't have a diploma, get it. Extend yourself from that point. Self-respect. Again, like I said earlier, change how you speak. Change how you carry yourself, your attire, just your whole appearance. It's quite important. Definitely that was a challenge for me, having coming out from incarceration and being looked at in that same nature. Well, you know what? Here comes that two-time convicted felon. Here comes that dope dealer. He's no good. Then having heard that, I was like, oh, great, I'm creating an image. But I had no idea that that image was not, it wasn't me. But again, being involved in many different things, it definitely helped educate me in so many different ways. It opened my mind to the many opportunities and in many areas that I didn't think that I would have potential. One of them is being involved in educational programs that are available for people like me that are coming back into society.
We call you guys ex-offender population or returning citizens.
Most definitely, and we can definitely use the
Yeah.
returning citizens. And having been a returning citizen, I was able to participate in a culinary arts program in one of the many programs available here in Chicago. Received a food service management certificate and put it to use. Haven't thought that I'd never hold a job because I'm a two-time convicted felon. It came in handy.
Yeah.
It came in handy.
You probably don't think I remember this, but I remember one time you had prepared a dish and you brought it up to my place of employ and you were offering it to me, and I told you I can't take it. And you looked at me so funny, you were like, man, dude, you know what kind of time I put into this thing? And I was like, I appreciate that, but I can't take it. And I'm glad we got past that, because it was just the policy at the organization where I was working that we could not receive any type of gratuity of any kind from the guests or the clients. So, once we got a chance to sit down and talk about it, I'm sure he understood it. So we're moving on, because later on behind that, you came on board as a case aide while I was doing case management work.
Yes, indeed.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? The experience.
The experience was quite awesome. I was able to work with returning citizens myself, along with Jones. I definitely want to say it was a very empowering opportunity to work with people like that, and to work with a person like Jones. And I'm being honest. Very empowering. Very
I'm about to give him $5 now because he's just plugging me away. I tell you, man.
Again, at first, I didn't like him. I hated him. I'm going to say it. I hated Jones.
I hear that a lot, man.
But when I realized his delivery and the message behind his words, I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it another way. We still stay in contact. I still get a verbal beat down, and he still, it's to build me up. And, hey, I love the man like a brother. Ain't no one else going to give it to me like that. And I will look forward to be working with you hopefully sometime soon.
I think so, man. But let's finish up what we're doing
Let's
here.
do this.
Those of you who would like to join the conversation, and by the way, thank you for those glowing, complimentary remarks, man.
By all means.
Yeah, you make me feel like crying.
I got tissue.
We can be reached at 738-1060. If you want to join in and give a comment or have a question for either my guest, Mr. Mauricio Colin, or myself, Jones, we'd be more than happy to take your question. Moving right along, what would you consider to be the responsibility of a formerly incarcerated individual upon returning into community, family, and corporate America?
Staying focused on the goals that you have set before yourself.
Okay.
If you're not able to achieve those on your own, I'm pretty sure there's many mentors, or if not tutors, that can help you reach those goals.
Mm-hmm.
Strength, faith, and hope. Keep your head up no matter what. If I can do it, if Jones can do it, you can do it.
That's some good advice. That really is.
That's real
that's
talk.
from the heart. Yeah, that is real talk.
And along with that, if I may add, former heroin addict, former cocaine addict, former alcoholic, staying focused in an area that I didn't like helped me stay and continues to help me stay 6 years plus months clean and sober and able to maintain a straight way of thinking.
As I understand it, behind all of that, you also have a stronger connection with your children.
Oh, man. It kind of makes me want to tear up, but yeah.
I've got tissue.
But you know what? That's real talk. Never thought I'd be able to bond with my kids and teach my kids. There's no words for it, but if you want what I have, man, go get it.
Yeah. And
your
you
kids,
can get it.
yes, sir. Your kids are gonna love you. You have no idea how many times I'm able to hear and be there for my kids. Not behind the glass, not behind a phone call, not behind bars, but there, behind the stove or behind the sink. Daddy, I love you. Daddy, dinner was good. Those are the benefits I reap from this kind of work and these kind of programs that are available for you.
That's great, man. Those of you who would like to join the conversation, we can be reached at 312-738-1060. I'm Jones. This is Mauricio. And Mauricio, we're going to move right into our next question.
By all means.
And what activities have you been involved in since your release?
The many activities, well, I want to say the one main activity I'm involved in is being able to continue to reach out to anyone that's having a hard time, that needs someone to talk. Drug addiction, just you're looking for some kind of advice or some kind of suggestions. I am personally available at any time, and if I may, Mr. Jones, give out my phone number.
You could if you stop calling me Mr.
Look, Jones.
Okay.
My number is 872-777-5128.
Repeat that, please.
That number once again is 872-777-5128. I am available at any time for any reason you need someone to talk to, and believe me, I'll talk to you like Jones talked to me, because it's just 100% raw.
You know, that reminds me of when I was coming through the AA principles and the CA principles. My sponsor would say that same thing, that at any time you need to call, just call. I found that work a bit difficult for me. I know that to come into a social services end of the spectrum, you need to be called to it to develop your passion and that type of thing. Now, as much as I would love to do sponsorship, I just don't have the availability. And it's good to hear that you're doing it and can take a call at any time. Now that's phenomenal, because we hear that a lot in those rooms, and guys are not necessarily available from time to time because they have lives. You know, they're working, they're going through personal challenges and that kind of thing. So I'm glad to hear that that's one of the positive acclimates for you to be going through, and keep up that good work, man.
Thank you, Jones.
Let me just take a second and give us a little plug again. The Inmates For Change organization can be reached at 773-746-3075. That phone is open from 9:30 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. The email address is inmatesforchange@gmail.com. And coming soon to a computer near you, the inmatesforchange.org website. We've been experiencing difficulty after difficulty after difficulty with the website, and I've mentioned it in the last 3 shows, and my guys guaranteeing this time that we're going to be up and running, and I'm just glad to hear that. So those of you who would like to join the conversation, we're about halfway through our segment tonight. 312-738-1060. Mauricio, how has the Inmates for Change organization been involved with you and your transition through your reentry process?
The path to purpose, it's helped develop discipline, integrity, respect, just forward thinking, straight thinking. There's so many words, adjectives, adverbs we can put in there. It's, if anything, man, to be able to live a life today, to continue to make the change, to know that it helped build a foundation I never had. The foundation I had then was just, just imagine a brick wall with just many missing bricks.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to fall, and it fell.
Well,
But the only thing to that, Jones, was I was left standing, but still needed a foundation.
there you go.
Inmates for Change was one of the many organizations that helped make me who I am today.
That's great. I'm glad to be part of that team that was involved in your return, as well as your productive lifestyle and your successful reintegration. The second thing I also remember is you and I did a lot of one-on-ones. When you were coming through, I mean, we had
Man,
endless one-on-ones. Man.
those one-on-ones, at first, as usual, I don't want to hear it. Who the hell's this guy? Excuse me. But those one-on-ones, it continued to help build a character that for me was like, just say, man, look, be still.
You were fighting all the way, man.
Yes, sir.
I remember
Yes, sir.
You were fighting all the way.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
To God be the glory.
Amen. Amen. To know that God told me you need to be still. And if anything, also spirituality is the main part
That's right.
of all this. But again, I will always say it, the way this man drops knowledge, because he continues to do it, those one-on-ones, just...
Yeah, you're speechless now. Yeah.
It's true. It's
wow,
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right,
Slap some knowledge in me.
Intense moment right there.
Indeed.
So let me ask you this. What are your aspirations for your future employment or ownership of business, or where you headed from day one? I try not to put dates in on the programming because we don't want to be outdated with some of the information that we're offering, but in the coming future, where are you headed? Where are you going?
Well, I definitely plan to go back to school.
Okay.
To get a CEDC, to be a counselor, to be a social worker, to be available to those in need. I never thought I had that gift, but I definitely want to be available for anybody and everybody that's gone through what I've gone through, if not maybe worse, and be a helping hand, to be a blessing to returning fathers.
Yeah.
To be returning children, fathers returning to the children's, or anything of that nature. It's just many things have empowered me to share that wisdom with many single fathers. Let them know that you can do it. Don't let the past lurk over you.
And I speak on that a lot with the past. Don't keep looking at it. It's something that happened, and there's nothing you can do about your past. The only thing that we know about now is where we're going from this point on. Mauricio, we've got a caller on the line. I'm going to take this call, and it may be directed to you, so be prepared to answer, okay?
By all means, Jones.
Caller, tell us who you are and what is your comment or your question.
And yes, and good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, listen, this is Jones. This is to your guests.
Okay, who are we speaking with, please?
This is Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
How you been doing?
We're doing good, thank you. How about yourself?
Man, life is good, man.
Yeah,
life, I can't complain.
All right.
But I got a question to ask your guests, and I've listened to you a few times, and it's a wonderful thing what you do when people come out. I want to know, is there anything being done while people are inside trying to help you, prepare you for when you come out? Or do they give you a list or things that you should seek when you come home on the outside?
Okay.
I think they should be a little bit more. And Jones, you do a hell of a good job, man. I listen to you through the periodically at times.
Thank you, Steve.
So you just keep on doing what you're doing.
I will.
Let me get out there.
What I'm going to do is let Mauricio field that question, and if it's okay with you, I'm going to piggyback on it.
Okay. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. Thanks for your comments
All right,
and your
thank
call.
you. Okay, so the question, if I'm correct, is what do institutions do to prepare you before you come
Yes.
out into society again? In my situation or my experience, nothing.
You okay?
It was just you sit here, you do your time, just to abide by our rules and policies, you stay out of trouble. So in some sense, some sort of discipline, but to better myself the moment I walk out,
No.
nothing.
Now, on the flip side of that coin, I was fortunate enough to be sentenced to Sheridan Correctional Center down in Sheridan, Illinois. And they have an educational and drug rehabilitation program inside the curriculum in the jail. So it kind of prepped me for coming out. Now, to answer your question, Steve, there are programs that are at the state and federal level. We also have something happening over at the county jail where it's making some headway, I'll say that, because one thing that happens with the demographic is that your program strategies have to continually change to meet the oncoming needs of the client base or your detainees. So to look at it and say, well, over a course of a year, we've had 1,500 graduates, who are still out on the street now and whatever they're doing with their lives, the county programs don't necessarily track or monitor an individual upon their release. That is left to either some of the mentors or some of the organizations that have those type of personnel and staff in place to do that. At Inmates for Change, we monitor our individuals and we keep in contact with them to make sure that they're staying on the course to keep it going. So the answer is yes, but how effective is it depends on the individual. Secondly, in Mauricio's case, no, they only had punishment and warehousing. Thirdly, it's up to the individual himself once he returns to decide on making a difference in his life. That will be a significant change and produce good fruit for family, support systems, his own self-image as well as his self-worth, and successfully reintegrating back into community and corporate America. So with that, I understand that having those challenges against you, and that's why my first question is, what were the perceived challenges that you would have from where you were sitting upon your reentry? And that was the thing that I wanted to know more about, was how psychologically did you prepare yourself when you came out? Are you going along the lines of, when I get out, I'm getting ready to go back down to the block and hang out with May Pookie Dude and them? Or am I going to leave that life alone and try to make a new start and get going by reinventing myself and that kind of thing? And that's what we do with Inmates for Change. Inmates for Change is dedicated to breaking the bondage of destructive thinking. By offering the Rehabilitative Education Initiative, Path to Purpose, we offer a 12-week curriculum that handles critical thinking. Anger management is in there, spiritual connectedness, God consciousness is in there, forward thinking, interpersonal interaction, building your self-worth, small business ownership. We also work with behavior modification, which will induce a lifestyle change, and we also offer vocational training linkage to individuals who have been successfully completing the program. So we're coming to an end, Mauricio. Is there anything you'd like to say to someone out there, maybe some of the loved ones, the kids or something?
Oh, definitely. For my children, Marcella, Julian, Marcos, Monica, Lisette, love you all, Mom and Dad. But a word to all the viewers out there, don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. You can. You have Inmates for Change. You got Jones. You have many programs out there that are available for you. They're just waiting for you to reach out. We're here. Make that first step to change. Don't ask yourself how I'm going to do it. Don't ask yourself when you're going to do it. Just get up and make that first step, to make that call, to make an appointment, to have an intake done, to have an assessment done, to see how, for example, Inmates for Change can set you up for success. The success is there. Just reach out for it, man. I didn't want to, but I did it. Many people like Jones, I give him credit. But again, unto God be the glory.
Absolutely.
Once you feel that success, you live that success, watch yourself grow. Believe me. Then again, you don't have to, but look at all the other people that became successful that were in a place just like you.
You know, I appreciate you saying that, but keep in mind, Inmates for Change does have a staff.
Hey, I'm just
So
saying,
it's
Joe.
not just Jones that's doing all the work.
Well, okay,
In
well,
wrapping up,
Jones
ladies
and-
and gentlemen,
Go ahead,
I'd like
sir.
to say to you all, this program has been made possible in part by support from the people at the Mobile Dock. I want to tell you again, this has been such... I can take a caller? Oh, man, I thought I was running out of time. Come on, caller. I'll take your call. Tell us who you are and what your comment is. Technical difficulties, I take it. Caller, are you there?
What happened?
Caller, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, can you
Yeah,
speak up a
I'm
bit,
right here.
please?
Hello again, please.
There you go. Who are you?
My name is Lloyd.
Hey, Lloyd.
Hey, Lloyd.
I'm with Diverse United
Okay.
on the far northwest side of Chicago, and I'm looking at your program as we speak.
Okay. Come on, Lloyd.
Hello, my name isn't Lloyd. My question is, how do I get involved with the program?
Okay. 773, let me give you an overhead shot. Grab your pen and pencil right quick because we've got about 2 minutes before we go off the air.
I got it.
773
Uh-huh.
p.m. or the email address inmatesforchange@gmail.com. That should help that situation. Lloyd, I think we got lost in the transition over there. Technical difficulties, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with you in the near future. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the Inmates for Change show. I want to welcome again and thank my guest, Mr. Mauricio Colin.
Thank you, Jones.
This is truly one of my mans. I tell you,
Thank
this
you.
is my man for
It's
real.
it's a pleasure. And once again, I'm available for anyone.
Get that number out right quick.
872-777-5128. The number again is 872-777-5128, and any which way I can help.
Alrighty. So thanks again, everyone, and please be safe out there.